Hi, guys. Hi, welcome to the live. Thanks so much for joining. Please hit the like button on your way in. How are y'all doing on this good old Sunday? Hi, everyone. So, we're going to get started with the video. Y'all, please hit the like button on your way in. Tap the like button. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? So I'm sure all of y'all have watched the episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville where the ladies went on a girls trip. So we're gonna do a real quick live. Mel is actually going to be going live at noon, and I want to be able to catch her live, and I know you guys would like to catch her live as well. So we're gonna just get some quick commentary on what happened with this girls trip, and that's all we're gonna talk about today. I hope everybody doing well. So the first scene I wanted to talk about, y'all, was when they were arriving. And when Mel and Shenita arrived, she made a comment. And Mel was like, "Well, I hope I don't see any snakes." And Shenita was like, "You around snakes every day." I was hollering, because is that not the truth? Everybody that was on that trip, besides maybe Sunny, was a snake. I didn't like how the ladies were treating Sunny when she arrived to the airport. I don't know if this is all a part of their narrative to try to make it look like they trying to keep Sunny on the outs or what, but they was all negative, and Kimmy was like, "Oh, I didn't know Sunny was going. Why does it matter? Isn't she now a part of the cast? So she can't go on the girls trip, but y'all can invite Destiny." I didn't like how they was treating her, how they was kind of making her standoffish. And Sunny, don't be telling them your business. When Sunny started talking to them about her IVF and how she had already tried, I believe 2 times, I'm like, these are not the ladies you share that type of information with, because I feel that as soon as they get into an argument with her, they will be the type to bring that up and try to throw that in her face. So I'm like, Sunny, no, don't try to don't try to get them to like you by giving out personal information, because they're gonna use it against you. They don't care. They don't have no reason not to like you. They just don't like Sunny just to not like her. So I wouldn't be telling them none of my business if I was Sunny. So when they got there, I thought Nell was doing too much. It seemed like Nell was a little bit tipsy, but the way she was so pressed about not having a name card, especially after Mel explained to her that um it was an error, they didn't print off her name card, but she kept pressing the issue, kept bringing it up. So I think being tipsy played a part in it, but Nell was kind of being aggravating and annoying, how she kept saying like, "Oh, I don't have a name card, I don't have a name card." Okay, but you have your own room. You have a nice room. Chill. You wasn't left out on purpose. And then did y'all see when Tisha thought that they had put her in a room with Stormy? She was like, "Oh, they funny," when she seen Trisha's name, but she thought it was her name. And she like, "Oh, they funny." How they funny? Aren't you funny for inviting Destiny on Mel's trip? So that was kind of weird to me. And then her and Kimmy was mad for no reason, in my opinion. They said the space was too little, but what did y'all expect? It wasn't like they were the only ones sharing rooms. Stormy and Trisha was sharing a room as well. And it was Tisha's idea to invite a +1. So she kind of set herself up for that situation. Hi, Patricia Phillip. It did feel like she was looking for a reason to get mad at Mel. Yeah, it was weird. Then they was complaining about the room, but it's like, Tisha, you the one wanted to bring an extra person, so you should have expected to be at least sharing a room with one other person. Your plus one. And the fact that Kimmy was thrown in there, that's your ex boon coon. Why you so mad about her being in there? She didn't want to share a bathroom. She like, oh, me and Kimmy sharing a bathroom. Okay, what's the problem with that? What's wrong? Somebody ain't clean? What's going on? May May, good morning. How you doing? We going over this girls trip episode real quick so everybody can catch Mel's live. Mel is going to go live at noon. So we're going to go over this girls trip. I just had a little bit to say about these scenes because the Opps were pressed and it wasn't even their trip. And I don't think they would have gave Mel any type of common courtesy. Like, Mel was being so sweet, in my opinion. She greeted everyone. She hugged everyone. She was giving out compliments. She seemed to be in good spirits. And they just walked in there off bat negative, bringing their negativity. They was negative at the airport too with Sunny. But then when they got to the house, they was complimenting the views. Kimmy was like, "Oh, that's beautiful." Y'all know how she is. So it was like they was kind of bugging me. I would have, but them in the boiler room, girl, because they was complaining, talking about it was too small. What did y'all expect? And then did y'all hear Kimmy when she gonna say, "Who is Shenita?" The hostess friend that she invited personally, so she can assign her any type of room that she wants. And Trisha was getting on my nerve too, because she seemed like she's so pressed to fit in with the Scots. Like, ma'am, you was in the room with Stormy. You should have been happy to even be on the trip. Why are you instigating with the Scots? She took it upon herself to walk out there and be like, "Oh yeah, because y'all should have had y'all own rooms. They could have put me with one of the friends." Why would Mel want to inconvenience one of her friends that she personally invited on her trip and put them in a room with you, someone that they do not know? Why would Mel want to do that? Trisha was getting on my nerves. Like, come on, y'all be doing petty stuff because she wants to be sneaky and try to throw these side comments in with the Scots to let them know, like, oh yeah, I'm down with y'all. But girl, sit back, relax, chill. To keep it a buck, I would have called that bus back and told the driver to take them back to the airport. Girl, I mean, nice. Mel was so nice. Mel was very nice to them. So they lucky because they would have got a kind of different attitude from me too, especially after I heard their complaints. Like, not right off bat, but after they would have told me, "Oh, we think the room is just too small," they probably would have got a little attitude from me, because what are y'all talking about? Y'all know we deep up in this house. This is a big house. Y'all each have your own bed. They act as if Mel had them sharing a bed or something. That's how they was acting. That's how Tisha was cutting up. Tisha like, "I'm ready to go back to Huntsville." Well, girl, go back. What's stopping you? What's stopping you from going back? So you ready to go back to Huntsville because you're sharing a room with your sister-in-law and your plus one, the person that you invited? It wouldn't have been that crowded if you wouldn't have tried to be funny and invite Destiny. So that plan kind of blew up in her face as well, in my opinion. Patrice Phillips, but how do you think y'all can treat me like crap, ambush me, know all what Martell was doing, but think I'm supposed to cater to you? What the hell? Exactly. They had the audacity. It's the audacity for me, complaining about a trip you didn't pay for, and none of them females could talk bad about Sunny. Yeah, they were weird for complaining about their rooms. And it's like they were ungrateful, in my opinion. Y'all want to stick together on everything else. What's the problem with rooming together? And like I said, Kimmy and Tisha, if y'all had a problem with it being cramped, maybe y'all shouldn't have took it upon yourself to invite Destiny. So that's y'all problem. Meme said, someone said in one of the chats that the room at the vacation home is bigger than her bedroom and bathroom. No, for real, because Tisha was sharing an apartment with her husband and her 3 children. Ma'am, quit acting like you just round here got so much space. Quit acting like y'all ain't been living in an apartment. Like, come on, Tisha. You ready to go back to Huntsville? Go hop on that plane and get back to where you was going. Cause I guarantee you was gonna be more cramped up at home with your family than you was at this vacation. So that irked me. The whole thing about the rooms was just stupid. And so then even to the point where Mel had to offer them her not only her room, but even um Shenita and Lauren's room. She like, I'm sure they don't mind rooming with me, and offered these women her own room in her friends' rooms. I wouldn't have done that. Like Mel was going out of her way to accommodate them, and then they turned it down. So what are y'all yapping about? Y'all turned down the offer of getting your own room just so you can continue to what? Complain? Healthcare worker says, hey T from TV in chat. Hello, how are you doing? Hello, T from TV. Hello, Linda Gamble. How are y'all doing today? I wish I would. Yeah, I wouldn't have offered them my room because go cry about it. Go get your own room. I'm not, they were complaining for no reason. And then when Nell came out there, like I said, I believe Nell was a little tipsy. So when she came out there, she probably was a little bit on one, but we're on vacation and y'all are out here complaining. I kind of would have had the same energy as Nell because even though she was being annoying too about the name tag, but they were being even more annoying. Like she said, suck it up. And then Kimmy act like she got so offended by Nell telling her to suck it up. You would have thought Nell told her to fuck off the way she was acting. Mama said Nell was an embarrassment to herself. She was getting on my nerve in the beginning when she kept trying to drag out that doggone missing name tag situation. But I kind of feel her when she went outside because they was complaining for no reason. And then Kimmy, when she did like kind of start coming at Nell dialed it down. You know what I'm saying? She kind of like checked herself, and you can tell with the change of tone and what she was trying to explain to them. Nell basically said, I know all of y'all the longest, so I'm out here just basically trying to be a mediator, and y'all just suck it up. We in a beautiful location. We got a big, beautiful house. Quit complaining. And here's Kimmy. I don't need another adult to tell me to suck it up. Well, obviously you do. Because those words kind of should have came from Mel. I would have told them to suck it up. Linda Gam said Nell was drunk like a skunk. Yeah, I think she was tipsy. I think she was feeling that champagne and she was kind of on one, but then again, she's on vacation. I don't blame her for having her a few little drinks. Like, come on, we here for a good time, not a long time. If Kimmy would have put her hands in my face, I would have broken them off. I would have bent them fingers so far back, Maurice would have heard them snap. Like, that's one thing I don't play about. Don't get in my personal space. Please don't walk up on me. Yes, I'm going to defend myself. And I'm so glad I'm not put in them situations. Nell handled that good because why do you feel the need to step up into my personal space when we are having a disagreement? Why do you need to get close to me? In my brain, I'm going in survival mode. Why are you getting so close? Is it so you can get a better aim so you can hit me? That's how I took it. And then she was talking with her hands. Yes, a lot of people talk with their hands. I do it sometimes myself, but you don't step up in nobody's personal space talking with your hands, basically talking shit. We all grown. You got mad. I said, suck it up. So don't step up to me like you finna do something to me, because then we're going to have a real problem. Yes, hey, everybody in the chat, please hit the like button on your way in. They wanted to complain. I get this is what moves the show, but fire them and bring new faces. The bras are ungrateful and bring nothing to the show. Yeah, Kimmy and them, they don't bring anything but this. little petty drama. This is the only thing they bring. And Tisha, she's willing to be a production puppet because she's always willing to say the stupid shit to try to get a conversation going. She's done it in previous seasons, when she asked Mel and Martell about the cheating when they were at their anniversary dinner. She's done it too many times for me to even sit out here and name because we'll be here all day. Tisha did it on this trip. When she said, "Oh, do you and Destiny have something y'all need to work on?" She does it all the time. So I was glad Nell was putting them in their place. But then Tisha tried to get a little rowdy talking about Nell finna get her wig snatched. Nell, you better check her. Now, I specifically want to hear you talk about this scene on a reunion because my girl said she was finna snatch your wig, child. And that was just disrespectful. Because you say what you gonna do to me, ma'am, you're gonna have to prove it. You're gonna have to prove you about what you talking about. And at first, when I seen the clip before watching the full episode, because I did catch the full episode on one of these YouTube channels, because I knew I was gonna want to give commentary. But other than that, I'm still on the blackout. But when I watched the clip, I almost thought, and it could still be fake with Kimmy and Nell, but when I added in the factor that Nell was kind of drunk, I'm like, maybe it kind of did go a little left with them. But at first, when I seen the clip, I'm like, oh, this is fake. They just want them to have some type of beef and drama going on so the audience can tune in, because I couldn't believe Kimmy got that mad at her telling her to suck it up. But now I'm kind of on the fence. Maybe a little bit of it was planned, but then maybe it went a little bit left. Because Tisha talking shit, she always talking shit, but she seems to only talk that type of shit to Neil. She know what to say. And when she's got her bodyguard, her husband, I'm not going to stop nobody from fighting, but if you swing, it's on. Yeah, I'm not. Kimmy was in her personal space. I know they grown women. They older than me, but I'm still too old to be fine. But that don't mean I won't. If I feel threatened, I will fight because better you than me. I'm not gonna let you do me nothing. I'm sorry. We'll repent about that later. I don't care how much Mel try to save the show. People aren't with the foolishness. Yeah, because a lot of the scenes give fake, staged, and the drama is just recycled drama. We tired of it. That's why I kind of thought it was fake too. I'm like, oh, now they have Kimmy and Nell trying to give a little new beef to the show, but who knows? Manel would have pulled Tisha to the floor. Who y'all think? Aren't they both Aquarius? So they little argument was kind of interesting to see. I want to see what kind of smoke they have for each other at the reunion. So besides them complaining about the room, that was getting on my everlasting nerve. So then we get to this part of the scene where they're at dinner. And I was the whole time I'm screaming, yeah, Shenita. Yeah, Shenita. Because she was giving it to him raw and uncut. And look at Tisha's face. You can tell Tisha from watching her on previous seasons, she's the type that she's not used to people being direct with her besides her husband. Y'all know her husband will call her out. He'll make a fool of her on TV and stuff. But she's so used to being a sneaky person and always talking her mess behind the person's back. Oh, she wasn't ready for Shenita. She was not ready for her. Yes, healthcare workers, thank you. Please hit the like button, y'all. So Letitia wasn't ready for that. And she was caught off guard because she didn't think that this person was going to basically check her. And Shenita wasn't even, I didn't take it as her really coming from a place of, oh, I couldn't wait to get at you. It's just the fact, because I'm sure she's heard a few things being Mel's friend and probably watching a little bit of the show. I'm sure she's seen how these people act a little bit, but she did not know them personally. So Tisha was looking at her like, oh, you don't even know me to talk about that. But Tisha, you were giving yourself away. The stuff that you were saying and the stuff that you were doing, she was, in my opinion, 100% correct in telling Mel to watch you. You are a sneaky woman and you're messy and you have a vendetta against Mel no matter how much you play nice. You play nice because you still may need her for little stuff here and there behind the scenes because you know Mel is successful and she's doing better than you. So that's why you kind of play nice with her, but you do not like that lady, and it's very evident. So when she told her to watch you, yes, watch you. And then she tried to make it seem like she was coming from this place of maturity. Oh, we're all grown. We should be able to talk to one another. Yeah, you can be cordial when you're in a certain place. I'm a strong believer in there's a place and there's a time for certain stuff. But you're fake, Tisha. You're fake. And she was not used to that. She was like, oh, what you told her to watch me? Yeah, watch you. You are a snake in the grass. And she was not ready for Shenita to give it to her how she gave it to her. And I was happy. And she's sitting there acting like she couldn't comprehend Tisha. She was like, that's not what I'm saying, when Shenita was breaking it down to her. Like, you basically was saying you'll be faking fun. She's like, no, that's not what I said. We're her friend group. No, y'all not. Y'all didn't even like Destiny. Keep it 100%. Y'all didn't like Destiny until she fell out with Mel. When y'all seen that she was on the outs with Mel, that's when it was, oh, hee hee ha ha. Then y'all could kiki and laugh together. Letitia, you are standing behind Destiny because you want her to pop off at Mel and say certain stuff to Mel. So quit lying. Quit lying. At this point, none of them will be eating at my table. Chad, I know this scene and she has to film with them, but yeah, like behind the scenes when Mel mentioned that Tisha called her for some type of advice, and she was like, Tisha asked her not to tell exactly what it was about. I wouldn't even give them that. They wouldn't even be able to call me behind the scenes because it's so in your face how they do not like Mel. They're weird. They're haters. So I didn't like that part. And I think Shenita said exactly what needed to be said to her. And she never can take accountability. And she's, like I said, she's used to going behind people back and saying how she really feel. Take it all the way back to the first season. This one I knew Tisha was a op. I don't care what nobody say. This one Tisha showed her true colors to me, and it was from the beginning in season 1. Every time she would meet up with Melody, and I mentioned it in other videos, every time she would meet up with Melody in the first season and the second season, before they really had like gone too far, Tisha would sit there and she would listen to Mel talk and she would eat up everything Mel was saying. But the moment she would get away from Mel and she would go talk to Kimmy or she would go talk to Maurice, she would not only twist Mel's words, but then she would try to make Mel sound like this condescending, mean spirited person. She would twist everything that lady said, going all the way back to the blueprint comment. So, Tisha, you are sneaky and you're nobody's friend. I didn't like when she used to do that. I knew she was fake then. And she can't stand on her own for her to try to make that comment about, oh, I didn't know Mel was bringing her bodyguard. I thought she was bringing her single friend. Girl, you the main person on the cast that need a bodyguard. Girl, you do not turn up on nobody. Stormy called your husband a whole biatch. Stormy disrespected your husband to the utmost, and you did nothing. And I think it's because part of you mad that you can't check your own husband because he be doing some bullshit to you. But I don't care. What happens at home is at home. What happens between me and my family at home is between me and my family. When we out in these streets, baby, it's one band, one sound. Especially if you're a woman, you're not going to disrespect my husband. I handle the women and he handles the men. That's just simply how it goes. So, Tisha, if anybody need a bodyguard, girl, is you. You ain't about nothing. All the times you had a chance to turn up when somebody did disrespect you, you did nothing. Even when you got the drink thrown in your face, you did nothing. Like, sit down, pipe down. Courage, the cowardly dog. So, y'all, and then Destiny comes out like she's dropping a bomb when she was talking about, I guess she was revealing to Sonny that Moses had still texted her around the time that they were messing around. But the timeline, Destiny, she said that she started dating Moses around that time. So if they were just dating and they weren't exclusive and he was texting you, that's just what it is. And it's just like, you shouldn't even be so hell bent on trying to prove to this woman anything, because you went out, you got married, had a son. Let her live her life. Even if Moses is a dirty dog, she chose to marry him, right? And according to you, it violated you in some certain type of way. So why should you even care on trying to prove to her the type of person he is? I would be trying to let him find out. I would be trying to let her find out on her own. Is given obsessed. Yes, first season she brought up cheating in Mel anniversary dinner. They all been jealous. Yeah, Letitia, she been a hater from the very beginning. She was showing her disdain for Mel, and at that point in time, Mel was still trying to help her, still trying to take her out to network, still trying to get her out the house and show her what can be done. And she was just a weirdo from the beginning. Sorry, I had to reboot my computer. Yes, y'all, we ain't gonna be on here long. Y'all know Mel is going live at noon, so please go check Mel's live out when we get off of here. So Destiny trying to prove something to Sunny. Mm, it doesn't matter. She needs to move on. And then when she gets to Mel and she says, "Hey, American Born," when she gets to Mel and she says, "You were trying to you." Okay, no, I'm sorry, y'all. Mel said basically Destiny was hanging out with Martell and his mistress with her kids. And we all know she's referring to Martell's birthday dinner. And Destiny felt the need, amongst them beefing, to post that online, knowing that Mel couldn't even post her own kids online due to the divorce and stuff that was going on. Destiny, you tried to excuse what you did by saying, "Oh, well, you were talking to her on the phone at a point in time, like y'all were friends." And Mel was like, "Never." And she was like, "Oh, yeah, you were trying to teach her how to respectfully cheat." Once again, her and Stormy, y'all see, they was prepared for these trips. These was all the bombs that they thought they was going to drop. Y'all know Stormy called herself trying to drop her bomb. I'm assuming is going to be on the next episode when she said she was arrested, allegedly, that we still ain't got a mugshot for her. She thought she was dropping that bomb, saying she was arrested by she had a warrant put out her by a millimeter, which is the content creator. And then Destiny thinks she's dropping a bomb, saying, "Oh, she was trying to teach her how to respectfully cheat." Who cares? Who cares? I don't care if it was true, y'all. I really don't care. Because Destiny, at that point in time, you was doing all that petty, messy shit. That wasn't the case. You just did that. Was that last year, y'all know? Or was that in January? I think Martell's birthday is the beginning of January. So that was probably this year, the beginning of this year when you posted that picture. You already had beef with Mel. Mel had already divorced this man. Her and Martell had been divorced for years. So even if at a point in time when she was still married to Martell, and she was doing what you claim she was doing, which I'm not saying is true, but Destiny claims that Mel was trying to teach Slaw how to respectfully cheat. I don't give a damn. I don't care if it was true, because whatever Mel was trying to do to work within the bounds of her family and keep her family together, that's her business. It doesn't hurt us none. So who cares? But at the point in time you posted that picture trying to be funny, none of that was what it was. Mel had already moved on from Martell, so we know she had no reason to be talking to Slarion. The girl, the other content creator, had released so much audio of the nasty stuff that Ariane was saying about Mel. They were not cool. At that point, you did what you did. And you were not cool with Mel at that point of the time you did what you did. And you knew what you were doing. You was playing in that lady face and you was using her kids to do it. And from that point on, you will forever have beef with me. You play with my kids, we forever got beef. So it's no rectifying the situation, Destiny. You're not dropping no bombs because who cares what was going on? She left the situation and it has been better for her. Mammy says, how you gonna teach a trick, new tricks? Man, another content creator did the timeline. Destiny posted the kids in Jan and the trip was April, May. So Tisha knew they were on the outs. Yes, Melanie has been on the outs with Destiny for years now. That was like a couple reunions ago and they were already not talking at that point. But remember when she heard Destiny talking with Tisha in the room? Like this was a couple seasons ago. So Mel has been on the outs with these people for a long time. Martell, she's been divorced him, been on the outs with Destiny. So Destiny, you were doing a lot of stuff. That's why I said a lot of this stuff was planned. They were going to try to ambush Mel at this vacation. That's why the whole plan was to even invite Destiny. They didn't know Mel was going to invite Shenita and Lauren, which I'm so glad she did because Shenita was needed. She checked Tisha. She let it be known what was going on and that we see you for what you are, girl, because nobody else is going to call you out. But we see you for what you are. Sitting up there looking like a couch with that velvet blue dress on. It was a turtleneck. It was long sleeve, sitting up under all them cameras and lights. I know her ass was up there like a baked potato. Stopping traffic, Lynn Wilson. Dusty acts as if she didn't do nothing, then mentions coleslaw about privately cheating when Dusty had to do several DNA tests for law. Well, allegedly, child. But yeah, Destiny try to act like she's so innocent, and they always try to act like they're gonna expose this stuff about Mel. But that stuff they be trying to be exposing, it's boo, tomato, tomato. Keep that shit to yourself. We don't care. Even if she was checking Slarion and telling her what and what not to do, that is her business. Tisha, you stayed with your husband after he received a booty pic talking about midday work surprise. You refuse to believe anything that's said about your husband and his other women allegedly. So what does it matter? And Dusty, you lost your husband for some shit you did that you won't speak about to this day. Dusty will come out and call this man an abuser and say all type of stuff about him, but who was found guilty in a court of law of 9 counts of contempt. So who does it really look like wasn't doing what they were supposed to do? Because Dusty, you had a lawyer. Oh, I see a TV. The plot was to have Destiny there to bring whatever tea Coleslaw and Martell had been feeding her. I agree. And Stormy caught herself dropping her bomb too. And I was arrested for guess what? Harassing communication. Like they all thought they was just gonna throw these bombs out there, take their turn, and do all this stuff, and it's bullshit. Because Stormy, we still don't know if you actually went to jail, and even if you did, you was out there cursing out an elderly woman like you ain't had no sense. So you deserve whatever repercussions you get, and that's just what it is. Dusty, your life is in shambles. Please go get it together. We don't care what Mel did in her marriage. What did you do in your marriage, Dusty? Let's talk about your marriage. Were you respectfully cheating? Were you friends with other men? Were you what were you doing? Destiny posted kids with coastline in January. The trip was in March. Giving videos was posted to be messy and use Melody kids to attack her. Yeah, that was the point. Because they was all beefing at that point in time. For me, I would never be able to allow a person like Destiny in my life. You disrespected Mel's mom, saying she was pimping her daughter out, posted Mel's kids. Nah, friendship is over. It is. And it could stay dead. Tootie Latrice. Hey, Tootie. She said reality show or nah. If you know two people don't deal with each other, why invite her? Why did Destiny show? Because it was all a part of the plan. I'm sure they knew about this cash trip well beforehand, and they had time to plot, probably even with their producers. They knew Destiny was coming back by this time. Um, they refilmed. I believe they refilmed a lot of these scenes because Martell was found guilty. I believe they was gonna go a little bit harder for Martell and it pushed this millimeter narrative a little harder, but then it came out that he was found guilty. And then Destiny was getting arrested. So it's like they was all trying to come against Mel. It was gonna be the whole season was just gonna be about Mel and her millimeters. Because have y'all noticed Tisha and what's their storyline? What have Letitia and Marcel been talking about? Y'all have to let me know because I haven't been keeping up with the show. But from the clips I see of them, they're either talking about the Destiny situation or they're talking about how the millimeters are causing so much conflict with their businesses. So, what is Kimmy and them storyline? They don't have one. Are you talking to somebody in the comments? Said she really did snitch on herself. They need to renew them. They share each other debts. Yeah, it's they are the whole cast is a bunch of weirdos. The Treese girl, she ain't doing the Trisha girl. I'm sorry, she ain't bringing nothing either. She's sitting up there with that mini poodle on top of her head, and she gonna say when Mel called her out at the dinner table, like, "Oh, you don't like Sunny because of Destiny," and she's like, "Oh, it's not that I don't like her, but I'm just not gonna be cordial with her." Girl, what? Do you hear yourself? From my understanding, you don't even really know Destiny. So how you coming in off the bat riding for somebody you don't know? You riding that hard for Destiny? And please don't try to make it seem like it's a girls' code thing because it's not a girls' code thing. You right there in male face and y'all pushing the narrative that you dealt with her husband while they were still married, allegedly. So Trisha was getting on my nerves and she was acting as if she knew, talking about no. This was outside the show. How you know the relationship that Sonny had with Destiny outside of the show? You going off based what the Scots and Destiny have told you. Them type of people, you don't need to be friends with them type of people at all. Because if you want to ride so hard for somebody, one, you don't even know them. It ain't like you got no years built into no relationship with the Scots or with Destiny to the point that you can say, "Oh, well, I'm their friend." Like you supposed to came in as a neutral party, didn't she not? I thought Stormy brought her on. I thought she supposed to be Stormy friend, even though that's probably a lie. They just had to bring up some type of narrative to say how she came on the show. But in real life, I don't think she had a real connection to any of these people. And then during the show, you said you were connected through Stormy. So what is it? Why are you riding so hard for Destiny? And you can't steal no man that don't want to be took. Y'all got to let that go. This girl was married and had a whole family. What are y'all missing? But Sunny, she still wants to be neutral, but I wouldn't even want to be none of their friends. But I know she has to socialize with them to basically get on the show. But that would be a production problem. That wouldn't be my problem. I wouldn't be trying to push to be friends with nobody. May said they need to renew them. We read that. Other people's lives. Can you imagine Melody being on the trip along with them? Destiny coming with the messy tea, Stormy with the arrest, and Trish talking about messing with Martell, and Tisha talking about the millimeters. Exactly. That's why I believe that Mel was like, okay, she already knew. She peeped the play and she went along accordingly. Yes, we can still go and do this trip, but I'm going to invite me some friends so I can still enjoy it. Because when Mel was even offering in the room, she said, with everything we have planned, we're not going to be here that long anyway. She was telling Kimmy and Letitia, like, well, me and my friends, baby, we booked and busy. We finna go enjoy this trip, so we don't plan on being in our rooms that much anyway. So Mel already knew the type of ish they were going to be on. Simply Beautiful. Hello, Simply. She said that scene only proved that they had been having conversations behind the scene. Yes, to me as well. I said the same thing. Tisha loves talking about some stuff rehearsed. It seems that y'all got together and was like, okay, when we go on this trip, I'm going to hit her with this. And then you hit her with this. And then you hit her with this. We just going to be dropping all these bullshit ass bombs. It was just evident on what they planned on doing. But Shenita threw it up. Lauren was there. She like, I'm here for moral support. We love you, Lauren. Lauren, like, I'm just here for moral support. More, she like, Shenita got it for the both of us, and Shenita was giving it to him. And I want to see the other scenes as well when they outside and Tisha looked like she about to cry, because, like I said, Tisha can't handle nobody being a woman and saying what they have to say to her face in the moment. She's used to running and going to talk about that person behind their back to either Marceau or Kimmy. So the way Shenita was coming at her, she was caught all off guard. She probably wished she brought her mama instead of Destiny. The preview proved exactly what Mel said about Destiny. She sits around and talks about Mel and Martell. She does. Because why you keep feeling like the need to bring these bones that you allegedly have? Remember, she said she know where all of the skeletons are buried and stuff. But girl, you can leave them buried, because this is nothing. Y'all acting like y'all really exposing this woman of something. Whatever she did within her marriage with her husband, whatever she saw fit to do, that's her business. She shared so much with the audience. It doesn't matter if her and Coleslaw was speaking on the phone. It doesn't matter. You knew they weren't cool at the point of the time, which I don't believe they were ever cool, so I'm not going to even use that word. But you knew they had no type of communication at that point in time. You chose to post her kids with her. So let's be real, Destiny. You ain't dropping no bombs. None of y'all are. They were given, they never been nowhere and not accustomed to the finer things of life. Yeah, Kimmy, no, they don't even go nowhere for real. It took her how long to get married and how long to get her honeymoon? And you complaining about sharing a room with your sister-in-law? And she should have been on Letitia ass for inviting Destiny, because that's who crowded y'all out, y'all plus one. Is people really mad Mel invited her friends? Them Scots playing. I would invite my friends. If I'm going somewhere like that, you damn right I'm inviting my friends. And it's not because I'm scared, or it's not because I can't hold my own, because as y'all can see, Mel can very much hold her own. Mel can very much articulate her opinions and what she's trying to say. It's Letitia babbling ass, baby babble ass, that can't never get what she wants to say out. So Mel can hold her own, but why would I go on a whole trip knowing that all the women there are against me and are going to be coming for me? Who am I going to have fun with? Who am I going to really go out and get to explore with if I'm beefing with everybody that's there? That makes no sense. So, of course, I would have brought me someone too. Because if I'm going somewhere tropical, a vacation, whatever, I want to have fun. Yeah, we can address the beef. We can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Because again, she can hold her own. But outside of us filming these scenes, what am I going to be doing? Sitting around in my room by myself on my phone because I don't like none of y'all? No. I'm going to go out and I'm going to have fun. And that's what she really brought her friends for, I believe. And I was like, yeah, Mel. When she was like, and to keep it a buck with you, fuck Destiny, and everybody's mouth was all dropped and shit. Yeah, fuck her. Who gives a fuck about her? Simply Beautiful says Shenita peep game and roll Tisha up like a blunt. Okay, smoking on the Opps, baby. Smoking on that Tisha pack. Wasn't Tisha crying when Kiki was invited and was blaming Mel? Exactly, y'all. She was crying because she didn't want them to include her own cousin, whom I remind you guys, Kiki came out and said she was friends with Mel first and had knew Mel for many years before Tisha even knew her. So wouldn't that be considered her friend group as well? You her cousin. She know Martell. I mean not Martell, but well, she knew Martell because he was married to Mel, but she knew Marceau because he's married to you. She knew Maurice. Y'all were considered Kiki's friend group over Destiny's friend group. Destiny said she was Martell's friend, and Mel ain't even heard of her. Mel said she didn't even know nothing about Destiny for years and years and years. So she came out of the blue, trying to get some exposure on the show. But they're hypocrites. Basically, to sum that up, they're hypocrites, and the biggest one is Tisha and Kimmy. They are the biggest hypocrites on the show because she wanted everybody to out Kiki. Same way Destiny wants everybody to out Sunny. It's weird how they try to keep the dynamic of the show. They really mad because Mel beat them all at their own game and knows how to play it. That was some cold tea. Mel already told us she had a conversation with that girl trying to speak to Coleslaw woman to woman. It wasn't about being friends. It was trying to appeal to her integrity. I agree. I agree. And I don't care what Mel was it willing to accept in her marriage. That's her business. It wasn't causing harm to nobody else. So whatever she was going to do within her marriage, that's her business. Destiny, what were you doing? You still won't even tell us the reason your husband left you 3 weeks postpartum. So they all they weird mean girls. Letitia gets on my nerves because she's too old to not comprehend some of the stuff that goes over her head, and you can tell she's just so immature. Tisha weaponizes her tears against Mel. She's always crying and blaming Mel and pretending to be the victim, and so she can get sympathy. That's all of their playbook. They all do the same thing. They're always the forever victim. Someone is always coming after them. They always have this animosity towards Mel, but always need her for something on the back end. Cause Tisha, tell us what you was calling her about. Cause I could have sworn I seen a scene where she said she wasn't going to call Mel because no, she wasn't going to DM Mel because Mel ignored her or something. But you ain't bring up the fact you called and asked that lady for some advice. What was that about? You can call this lady that you don't like and ask her for some advice, but then you can't be cordial really. Well, you can, but it's all fake because the moment she's not in your presence, you're going to talk about her like a dog. Even in that confessional, she tried to make Mel out to be a liar. I'm not about to do this with Mel. I text her. She knew Destiny was coming and blah, blah, blah. This. I don't know why Mel just won't tell the truth when she was referring to the rooms. Oh, yeah, y'all. Then she was like, oh, the rooms you assigned us, they show what you think about us. Girl, quit trying to be all deep. You really overthinking it. It was 3 of y'all. It made perfect sense to give y'all that room. If I felt a certain type of way about y'all, I wouldn't even invite y'all on the trip. She's a weirdo, but the divorce and had been for years. Mel talking about what Destiny did in January of 2024. Yes, for Martell's birthday. His birthday is, I believe, January 4th. So yeah, that happened the beginning of this year when Destiny posted her kids, and she knew exactly what she was doing. Because, like I said, at that point in time, Mel had cut all connection with a Martell and his slow slaw. She was wrong for what she did, and she cannot woman up to it. She tried to justify it, saying that she was talking to her on the phone. Girl, if she ever talked to her on the phone, it wasn't at that point in time, and you knew that. Girl, that was this year. Mel been divorced since what, y'all? 2020, 2021. So you know damn well she ain't talked to no coleslaw on the phone. She was just trying to segue that into that conversation because that's something she wanted to bring up for a long time. You could tell because you could tell when they just waiting to call themselves dropping something that they feel the viewers don't know because they kind of bring it up in a way that it wasn't even no need to bring up. She talking about you posting that picture in January of this year. And you could I would have took it better if you said, well, I'm friends with them. I would have took it better if you said that. Well, I'm friends with Martell. That's his new woman, and those are Martell kids. We were out, even though it would have been bullshit. But I would have took it better if she said that. That well, I'm friends with him, and that's his family, and I wanted to post. Even though, like I said, it's BS. But for her to try to justify it by saying Mel was speaking to that girl, you sound dumb. Tisha used the term more funnier. She can't speak proper grammar. She don't know how to talk. She don't know how to think. She don't know how to do nothing but start shit. The room didn't show how Mel felt about them because Tisha's house is dirty. The room was clean. Tisha's bedroom was tiny. The hotel room was bigger than her bedroom and much more organized. Yeah. Like I said, Tisha lived in an apartment with 3 kids and a husband. And baby, it wasn't no big old luxury apartment. It looked like y'all had probably about a 2-bedroom. You probably had the kids in one room and you and your husband in another room. So please stop it and knock it off. I'm Miney. Hi, how are you? You guys, please hit the like button. Exactly. That would have been more believable than the bullshit about them conversing. Exactly. That's how y'all know they just so hell bent on telling certain shit because they feel they can expose her, but they can't. They can't because we don't care. Nobody else was getting hurt in that process. She wasn't doing no dirty stuff to nobody else in that process. However she felt, however she felt about coleslaw in that moment when she was married to Martell, whatever she was trying to do to make her family work, that's between them. It would be BS because Destiny has never posted the Eminem kids, even when her and Mel were friends. And since that post is in January, Destiny has not posted the Eminem kids. Yeah, we know. We know her motives. It was to get back at Mel. I think that was around the time she said she saw Mel in the background with LeBerick and her son. So I believe, well, it's not even I believe, in my opinion, that was Destiny getting back at Mel. Because I wouldn't even feel comfortable posting, forget coleslaw aside. I wouldn't even want to post her kids online because that woman couldn't even post her own kids online. Have some respect for people. Treat people how you would want to be treated. I wouldn't want anyone doing that to me, knowing that we're beefing. Okay, Destiny. At this point in time, you had did so many interviews, you have spoke so bad about this lady publicly, so you shouldn't even felt comfortable about posting her kids because one, you weren't in on good terms with Mel. Two, because she couldn't even post her own kids, so why do you feel entitled to do something that she can't even do with her own kids, you know? So Destiny them, they rubbed me the wrong way, y'all. They really did. It's bullshit. Tisha, I can't wait till Shenita get on your ass in other videos. I'm sorry, in other episodes. And yeah, y'all, that's really doing all that. All of them sit around, do this boo and talk. So, oh y'all, before we go, this clip I found so funny. Cause Destiny, we know you be around here doing the most, and we call it
hidden hoeing and whatnot. Are you done?
hidden hoeing and whatnot. But y'all, that's it. Y'all go catch Mel's live. She is live. I don't know if it's on TikTok or her Instagram. But y'all go check Mel's live out. Thank y'all for joining, and I'll see y'all next time.